Well, he had his own path.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with Mrs. Bayoni Pickton. She is the standards manager of the BVI Tourism Board. And Mr. Trevor Grant, he's a small properties managing consultant. Small properties managing consultant. Welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you, Carmel. We're happy to be here.
Yes. And standards are important. Standards are important. And I haven't heard anything about standards in the tourism board, and I've been complaining bitterly for many years.
Yes.
So it really sunk in now that we need to maintain
Yes.
a consistent level of standards. Yes.
Yes.
So tell me about it.
I'll let Trevor update you on the program, as he's the consultant that was brought in to work on it for the board. And I'll chime in as it relates to training.
Okay, cool.
So essentially, in a nutshell, of course, as you know, tourism now is everywhere. In places that traditionally never used to offer tourism are now offering tourism because it's a ways of supporting their economy. And the places that are now getting into tourism, they're getting into it in a real way, where they're taking care of their product, they're taking care of their service. So the tourism dollar now has to stretch further afar now that people are getting into tourism.
More
So,
competition.
more
Yes,
competition.
yes,
So the cozy seat that the BVI and the Caribbean used to have is not as cozy and comfy as it used to be because of the level of competition, not only in the Caribbean, but internationally.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you find that tourists are looking for now more than ever is a consistent product and a consistent level of service. What we found as well through interviews and surveys and feedback that's coming back from a lot of the guests is that, while they might like the BVI, there are certain places that, are not up to standard. Certain places that offer service that it's not up to standard.
And that's service and accommodation as well. Service and accommodation.
So the tourist board, the premier, the minister of tourism, and the director of tourism, they said basically, they've had enough of this, and they want to change this. They want to make the BVI known for its level of service and its attention to the properties and the product that we offer here. So they had a conversation, and they looked at what they wanted to do as far as raising the level. Bayoni is a standards manager, and I was brought in as well because of my standards training. So essentially, we've developed based on some benchmarked standards that we can implement here in the BVI for properties. They equate to the level of 2 diamond or 3 diamond rated properties. Why 2 or 3 is because the level of properties that we have here, we want to make sure that they're achievable, that the standards are achievable. And the 2 and 3 diamond properties, they offer a very consistent level of a benchmarked quality and service.
How many diamonds are there?
5.
Okay.
5.
Okay.
So 5 is the highest.
So we want to maintain a minimum.
A minimum of
Of
2.
of two.
A minimum of 2, but there are properties that will be 3.
Okay. We're not aiming for 5,
We are aiming for 5, but there are none here yet.
and that would mean infrastructure.
Amenities, all of those things, yes.
Exactly.
Number of rooms you're offering, number of staff per guest,
Yes.
Okay.
all of those things.
So
play into
we're
it.
not there yet, but I think that's the trajectory. I think that the BVI is going to be going very soon.
And so, what are these standards? When we talk about standards, we talk about standards of what, in
Okay.
what, where, how.
Well, we differentiated the product standard or the physical plant.
Which would be the hotel, for example.
Exactly.
Yes.
So when you walk into the property. First of all, the landscaping should be in order. The painting of the property should be uniform. It should be in order. When we go into the rooms should all be in good order.
Should be no paint chipping,
No.
places where they're gonna paint and sheetrock plaster still
That's
on the
exactly,
wall.
Exactly.
that's exactly on our checklist.
Exactly.
When you see our checklist,
Exactly.
those are some of the things on it.
Exactly. You know, no cracked lamps, no broken headboards, no cracked tiles.
And all the light switches working.
And make sure the
And
light
they got
switches
bulb- they got
working.
bulb-
Yes.
They got bulbs in the
Exactly.
in the lights.
Exactly. Then these are all things that, you know, we've tended to overlook over the passage of time, and we've said, you know, this is okay, I'm a mom and pop operation, or guests don't really notice that.
So now that's unacceptable.
That's unacceptable. And it's not to make properties feel inferior. It's for them to understand that they have to raise the level of product that they offer to meet the clientele that the BVI attracts and keep them. Because if we don't do it, a lot of other places will. In addition, we have added a service assessment as well, because I know that you're a stickler for service. You've been to establishments that I've managed, and I've made sure that not only you get good service, but I try to make sure that everyone gets good service. So I've used all my years of training and my experience, as well as we've used benchmark standards, researched industry standards, and implemented them in our service training. So we have standards that are to be met in the front desk and guest services, in the restaurant, food and beverage, and in housekeeping. Essentially, there's a sequence that a minimum level of things that you must do when a guest comes to your hotel. And it's actually very, very comprehensive, and it's very easy if we just are consistent with what we do here, and it makes so much of a difference.
Okay. And so you're going to be training the properties. So you're going from door to door, or people come into a location. How is the training going to be implemented?
We're conducting training in-house. Every establishment, we're training within the establishment. We're meeting you on your level, your time, your employees, and we're offering you the free training. Trevor has been doing service standard. How do you present a glass of water? Simple things people don't know. Today we were having lunch and he's nudging me under the table because the young man was holding the tray incorrectly. And lo and behold, as soon as he got in the back, it fell. So everything was on the floor. But those are basic things that waiters and waitresses should know are some of the things that we've been teaching them. We've been doing standard training as it relates to the customer service as well. And when we say the customer service, we're talking about how you present yourself to the guests. You know, the importance of you being pleasant,
Yes.
even if the guest is rude. The importance of you understanding that everyone that comes into the establishment is a guest. Everybody that comes in, you've invited us to come, you've invited us to buy. We're your guests. And so we should be treated with uttermost respect and the highest level of professionalism.
So you're going to line up all of the hotel staff, and you're going to, well, not line up, you're going to sit them down in a room.
Sounds like a firing squad.
Line up and shoot.
I'm like, what's going on?
You're going to sit them down in a room, and you're going to give them pointers, lessons, instructions on what they should be doing regarding service in the institution, in the hotel or whatever it is.
Yes.
And from smiling to speaking, what is all this, the whole thing involved?
Okay, you're 100% correct.
Yes.
Vioni and I have already started to assess certain properties that are part of a pilot program. So they've been assessed. But in addition to that, we did food and beverage service training prior to the Lobster Fest over in Anegada. And of course, this was relatively new to the properties over there, and it was so well received because it's not a fault of the business owners. They probably don't have the knowledge, don't have the resources to have their staff properly trained. Fortunate for us, myself and Vayoni, we're locals. We've been well trained, and we can offer this service. So we don't have to necessarily get trainers from the outside. We have been trained. We're locals. We know how to do it well, and we impart this knowledge to people that are here. So we were very well received. And it was funny because some of the staff were very, very elated to know that this is the proper way to greet a guest. This is the proper way to serve water or a beverage. This is the proper way to place a plate in front of a guest. This is the proper way to remove it. This is the proper way to say goodbye. This is the proper way to handle a complaint. And these are things that make or break businesses now in this age of social media.
Those are very important things.
Exactly.
Yeah, those are
Exactly.
very important things.
And we also highlighted the fact
And those are the most common challenges. By
Yes.
the way.
Exactly.
Yes.
Those are the most common
Exactly.
challenges.
And that's why these service standards are so important. And we also made sure that we have people in these restaurants to understand that your guests, just like Vayoni said, your guest is not just the tourists that come to the BVI. Your guests are also locals. So the same way that you treat a guest that's coming from afar, you'd have to treat the locals the same way.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I mean, I've had some experiences
Yes.
where
We all have.
we all have had some experiences where you think that I was a second-class citizen.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's unfortunate.
my money was kind of like a slightly bluish color instead of
Yes.
green.
It's unfortunate. and you know what? It's just a level. It's just training. This whole service training. It's gonna take a while for it to set in, because it'll take also the business owners to be reinforcing what we start
Yes.
off with.
Yeah.
It can happen unless the business owners also reiterate it. The staff are receiving it well. They're glad to know that they actually have been trained on how to do this.
Yeah.
But to keep the momentum, the businesses, they also have to have their part to play. And the businesses that we went to, the owners were there through the training as well. And so they chimed in and they asked questions, and it was an eye-opening experience. Vayoni, I mean, it was
Yeah.
it was really
Yes.
eye-opening.
Well, I mean, in fairness too, and I know I criticize a lot, but sometimes, a lot of the places we go, locals go, we know the people. So, they say familiarity breeds contempt.
Right.
But, it's in a nice way. People know you. Oh, we ain't got to put on no show for Cromwell. We just.
But even
But it's
though-
something. But it's
yeah,
something
they should
that they should. Yeah, that
Yes.
they need to maintain that
The
level
professional
of
level.
professionalism.
Yes.
Even though you're my friend and I know you and you know that I'm not gonna complain and everything cool, you still, for yourself as,
Yes.
as a professional.
People,
And do we see? Are we going to upgrade our hotel staff to real meaningful status positions? Because it seems to me like here in the Virgin Islands, we think that we could just take anybody
and drop them
and
in.
just drop them in make them a waiter, a bartender. How difficult to discuss solving tables.
But
tables
based on
be.
what we're saying,
Are we going to stop that?
you
stop that
have
trend?
to train them.
Right.
you have to train them.
And we don't.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. We
You know,
don't,
you have
yeah.
to train them under
So
the
that's
one.
changing now.
Well, we are hoping to have it become the norm that people are trained before you put them on your floor.
Yes.
You train them under the One BVI campaign that the BVI Tourist Board is running. It's about understanding that tourism is everybody's business.
Correct.
It doesn't matter what job you're doing. I recently had a service training with some cashiers, and I said, you're not just a cashier. You're the front line of this business.
Yes.
And you have to learn to take your job with some dignity. Like, you're the lead. If the
Correct.
cashiers aren't there, we stand in a long line and we complain. So they have a high value.
And if they're not pleasant, we're not coming back. Yeah.
Well, sometimes we don't have a choice, let's be honest.
But that's true. But more, as choices,
But as we have a choice,
Emerge.
As
That's
we
right.
have a
Yeah.
choice, we tell ourselves, I'm not going back there.
yeah, as a matter of fact, I start cooking my own food at home. I don't
Yeah.
know if I go to the restaurant.
I have actually cut some places off of my
That's
list
right, you know.
because
I ain't
the
going there
staff was
again.
just too.
I'll
too
cook,
rude.
you know, insult myself, you know.
And
But-
you
but-
enjoy going out. You enjoy spending money
Yes.
on yourself, and
Yes.
you expect that level of service that when you go there, you always want to go back.
Yeah. Are you explaining to the managers though that I guess you're training them as well, because I don't think many of the managers or owners of these properties have the knowledge of what needs to be done in their properties for their own success.
Yeah,
That's correct. We,
You know,
i-
'cause
in,
so they
um,
just pick up somebody and just send them out to wait the table. They don't know that you saw the plate on the right side, or you pick up the plate. I mean,
you serve it on the left.
Yes.
Yes.
Those things, right? They don't know. They pour the water, the ice plop into the glass.
Correct.
Yes,
Sprinkle up all on you.
That is correct.
You know.
yes, and that shouldn't happen.
And you see
Yeah.
these things that you're highlighting, as simple as they may sound, they can make or break a dining experience.
Yes.
It also reflects on the property itself, on the restaurant itself, when you get a waiter or a waitress that comes to your table and you don't know what you're doing. This is a night that you probably brought your significant other out for a nice dinner, and you get a waiter that
You bought a new dress for her.
exactly. There's a lot of
And
money
she's-
goes into these things.
and she's looking
good.
You know, a waiter we just can ruin that whole thing.
Yes, yes.
You know, so
Spill stuff all over the dress.
yeah, it's very important.
important.
Service and attention to your product
Yes.
is very important, and the tourist board is very keen on ensuring that we raise the level
Yeah.
to the point where there's a pilot project that's going on right now. When Vioni and I go out and we assess about 9 different properties that were part of this pilot project, and where this is going is that if these properties want to be advertised and specifically marketed by a group of travel agencies in the United States, if they want to be advertised as small properties where to visit,
Get that international exposure. They
Yeah.
gotta go-
Correct.
They
Yes.
got to go through training.
Yes.
exactly,
And you have to be willing to step up your product as well.
exactly,
You got to paint the place, cover up all the plaster, and make
Exactly.
the facets
Yes.
stop leaking.
stop
Yes.
leaking.
Yes,
Yeah, change the rusty facets.
And you'll be surprised what people think is normal.
But yeah, but listen, I could imagine. I'm having the
what
experience.
people think is
I'm having the experience,
normal,
yeah.
and we say there is so much opportunity for you to experience different properties. BVI have some brilliant properties.
beautiful.
Yes.
And we always tell the property owners, visit some of the other properties that are a bit above the level that you're on.
And see how they perform.
You can learn a thing or two.
Yeah.
You can.
So how do you get in this program? How do I get you to come to my property to train my staff?
You can call the BVI Tourist Board and you can ask for myself or Vioni. Vioni does most of the one BVI and the holistic guest
Service excellence.
service excellence experience. I do a lot more of the
Service
the
standards.
service standards. So within the food and beverage department, within the housekeeping department, and within the front desk and guest services.
Okay. And anybody could. How you say a pilot program? So how many properties you have room for? Because I know you can't
The
handle
pilot
everything.
program has the number already that we're
Okay.
working on. Additional training, help with your property, anything you want information on, you can call us for that. But the pilot program itself, we've identified the properties who met the criteria, but they need some work.
Okay. So do I have those?
Yes.
Now, is this going to be an ongoing program?
Ideally, we'd like to add more properties as
Yes.
the program gets going. Yes.
And so if you add more properties, you're going to have to get more resources. Is it going? How is it?
Well, when you say more resources,
I mean, you're going to need more trainers. train our trainers, more Vionis, more Trevors,
We want to be so busy that we need to add more people. Yes.
you know, and
We're
and-
looking forward to that.
and, yeah, and get
That means
all
we're-
the properties
yes.
that needs to be up to that standard,
Exactly.
Because the whole product, the whole tourism product, seems to me, in my humble opinion, depend on you guys.
It depends on people taking leadership. You know, if the industry step it up, and that's basically what we're saying, step it up. If the industry step it up, we wouldn't have to do as much as we do for the industry.
Yes.
You know, people would take charge and people be responsible for their businesses.
Correct.
So once you introduce the whole concept of a certain level of standard, you promote what those standards are.
That's
Yes.
correct.
You're hoping that the properties would buy into those standards and then create those standards for themselves.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yes.
Very correct. The
That's-
assessment's correct.
We've already set the benchmark, you maintain.
Yeah. Are we satisfied with our taxi drivers? Or we still have training ongoing? I know
Training
there's
is-
been some improvement.
Training is always going on. BVI Tourist Board is actually conducting some training now with taxi drivers. And we've done quite a bit of them through the year. I've been doing some with the Taxi and Livery Commission. We still have complaints coming in, I must say, but they are not as much as we used to get.
They have improved. I
Yes,
could tell you from
they
being on
have-
the street,
they have
the taxi
improved.
drivers have improved.
They are not as much as we used
And
to
I
get.
listen to them coming around with speaking to the
Yeah.
tourists in the safari, and I say, mind by them
Yes,
on top of their
even
game."
the way,
Yes.
one of the things I've been saying in the trainings, you need to develop the habit of telling more stories. Because we had a thing where our drivers would drive around and say, this is Social Security building, this is the bank,
Yeah, right,
you
right,
know,
right,
this is the Sunday morning well.
right,
And we said to them, that doesn't mean anything to the guests.
right.
If you tell a story, now the guests would feel, oh, wow, that's an interesting story. And when they come back, they might take a picture of the building because they heard the story. We said to them, Wickham Ski was all water. When you're driving on them, that's something you can tell
Yes.
them, you
Yeah.
know. And it's
This
just-
is the Sunday
it's-
morning. This is Sunday morning. Well, this is where our Emancipation Proclamation was
but
read.
tell it, but
This is where we
don't
celebrate
say,
every year.
but don't say pointers.
Yeah,
Say a story, because a story is something that you continue.
and persons hearing that story take a picture when they
Yes.
go back.
They
can
can,
tell-
they
tell
can tell.
What they
I've been to this-
recall.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I've been to this place.
Yes.
And this is what happened there, and this is what the
To
value of this.
Yes, but we just give points.
Yeah.
Bullet point 1, bullet point 2,
Yeah.
bullet point 3.
Yeah. But now the storytelling is so easy, you know.
But
Storytelling is
then
easy.
a lot of them are developing it, you know, they're getting better. They are getting it. A lot of them have.
First
I've
of all, they
heard-
got to overcome that shyness.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And I've
You
heard
know.
some of them in passing telling their stories, and I was very impressed.
Yeah, and I heard some myself.
Yes.
Yes. We are turning the clock.
Yes.
As usual.
All the time.
The biggest terrorists are on the clock. So anything you left out, they can call you. Well, properties that want help, assistance,
Yes.
assistance
Yes.
available.
Yes.
They can
Free
call us-
assistance is available.
Free assistance available.
Not financial assistance. Let's put that
Yeah,
up
free
front.
human resource development
Yes.
assistance.
Yes.
To reach a certain standard in your accommodations property
Is
available
available
from the tourist
yes.
board. And you can call 494-3134
Correct.
and get you or Trevor to come out and have a workshop seminar with your
Within your property.
within your property.
Yes.
Or even to have your property
Assessed.
assessed.
Assess, yeah, to see where you are, where the physical plant is, what
Yes.
level of physical
Exactly.
plant.
Yes. Because, you know, we always say the broom is on the floor and you don't see it
Yeah.
because it's your floor and your broom.
That's true. That's true. You don't see. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank
by.
you very much.
Thank you for having
It's a
us.
pleasure.
Yes, and come back. Anytime. Give us update and let us know what happened. We need this information. We need to know what's going on.
And we need to encourage the industry, especially on Anegada Lobster Fest is coming up. Please, please use the tips that you've heard, use the tips that you've learned, and make it one of the best ever.
And I have to say, over the year, over the Lobster Fest, the period of the Lobster Fest, there's a fourth
Yes.
Lobster Fest, right? The hotels have improved,
Yes.
and the service have improved in Anegada.
And we know because
Over time.
you've been to every single one.
And I personally, I check it.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I check it. Yes. Good to have you, Ione. Good to see you. And of course, Trevor, it's always good to see you as well.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
The Spotlight is seen, of course, Tuesdays here on JTV Channel 55 at 8 p.m. and rebroadcast every Sunday afternoon at 2:30. Also, you can catch Spotlight live on demand, jtvlive.net. Like our Facebook page, please like our Facebook page, facebook.com/spotlightbvi. You can catch up with all the latest spotlights. You could make suggestions. You can let me know what guests you want to see come on, what topics you want to have discussed. We'd be happy to accommodate you. I'm Ed Jurenko, reminding you that when the spotlight is on, you see the facts. Peace and blessings.
Spotlight is brought to you by Ocean Conversion BVI Limited and BVI Tourist Board. We are one BVI.